So, given that states like WA, for example, suffered electricity power price increases of 57% in just the space of 3 years, what guarantee can you give that Australian consumers would see any decrease in their power prices? And secondly, for you, Mr Hunt, in your thesis that you wrote with Rufus Black, you talked about a price on pollution being the most efficient way to reduce that pollution. Is that not your view now?
Well, just on the price guarantee, some of you would be old enough, like me, to remember the introduction of the goods and services tax, and as some of you would remember, that also involved the abolition of the wholesale sales tax, which meant that while some prices went up, other prices went down. The ACCC at the time did a very good job of policing the introduction of that particular tax package so that prices only went up as much as they had to, and that quite a number of prices went down quite significantly. The ACCC did a highly competent job then. I believe they'll do a highly competent job in the future. I am confident that we will get a significant reduction in power prices as a result of the abolition of the carbon tax. I take your point though, Andrew. There has been a dramatic escalation of power prices in recent years for a whole host of reasons. The carbon tax is one very significant factor. That will be gone. That will be good for households. That will be good for jobs. And that's why it should be, and I believe will be, supported ultimately by a highly pragmatic Labor Party.
Andrew, look, I'd be delighted. It's precisely because of my work 23 years ago that the lesson I learnt was that it's about choosing the right market mechanism for the right problem. That work on zinc, cadmium and lead gave me the building blocks for where we are now. And the message from that is that this is a fundamentally inefficient tax. And the reason it's inefficient is it taxes electricity. What is the carbon tax? It's an electricity tax, it's an electricity tax, it's an electricity tax. Electricity is an essential service. It's a fundamental good. In economic terms, it's inelastic, but in household terms, it's essential. And taxing an essential service hurts families, hurts businesses, hurts jobs, and simply ends up diverting funds from other elements in a family's budget. For Australian businesses, the one place where it does have effect is it sends vulnerable businesses overseas. And you can see that in terms of leakage with regards to manufacturing and with regards in particular to the heavy metal sector. So this is the worst of all possible worlds. We have a situation where the price of electricity goes up, but under the ALP's own figures, which they released last year and again gave to the United Nations just days before the election, between 2010 and 2020, our domestic emissions go up, not down under the carbon tax. So it does do damage, it doesn't do the job. That's why it fails its fundamental test. And I would say this, every day that Mr Shorten votes for the carbon tax is a day that he votes for higher electricity prices. The ball's in his court. Prime Minister.